decommissioning ceremony will commence with arrival honors for the official party, the parading of the colors, the national anthem, and the invocation offered by Chaplain U-Haul. Arrival honors for the principal speaker, Admiral Moss, will include the 17-gun salute. Captain's Company, left-hand, up. Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the arrival of the official party, parading the colors, the national anthem, and for the invocation. England, arriving. Naval Surface Force, U.S. Pacific Fleet, arriving. Atlantic Fleet, arriving. Side boys, post. Parade the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Post. Post the colors. Chaplain U-Haul, Destroyer Squadron 33 Command Chaplain, will deliver the invocation. I would like to preface the invocation with a reading from the Old Testament book of Ecclesiastes. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the sun. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to build up and a time to tear down. Let's pray. Eternal and merciful Father, We pause now at this momentous time in the life of this ship, USS England, in order to beseech your presence and your blessing upon all those represented here today. We ask, O Lord, that you would fill this ceremony, fleeting though it may be, with the fullest measure of honor and significance so justly due this somber event. Indeed, even as we consider the truth of your faithful word, that there is a time appointed for every activity under the sun, even for this time of decommissioning. May we all be faithful to you and the ideals that this ship has so ably represented. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Will the guests please be seated? Ship's company, parade, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, the captain of the England, Captain Peter J. Gaskin II.
Admiral Laws, Vice Admiral Unruh, Vice Admiral Robinson, Rear Admirals Webster, Clark, Stark, Christensen, and Nelson, officers and crew members, previous commanding officers, and crew members of USS England DE 635, distinguished guests, and the last wardroom, CPO mess, and crew of the England. Good afternoon, and welcome to the decommissioning ceremony of the Guided Missile Cruiser England. It is my pleasure this afternoon to introduce our principal speaker, Admiral Henry H. Laws, Jr. He was the England's 12th captain from August of 1980 until October of 1982. During the last 5 months of his tour on England, I was his XO. No stranger to command at sea, prior to England, Admiral Laws first commanded the minesweep Prime, and then the guided missile destroyer Semmes. In his first at-sea flag assignment, as Commander Cruise Destroyer Group 12 embarked in USS America CG-22 in 1986. He was the Battle Force 6th Fleet Commander during combat operations in the Mediterranean. By 1988, he had taken command of the United States 7th Fleet Yokosuka, Japan. His tour included 5 months as the Commander of United States Naval Forces Central Command in his flagship Blue Ridge during Operation Desert Shield. Ashore as a flag officer, he served as Chief Operations and Readiness Branch, Supreme Allied Powers Europe Headquarters in Belgium. He was also Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations and Plans, United States Pacific Fleet, Pearl Harbor, and in his last Washington assignment, he served as Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Naval Program and Planning, Oppo 8. He is currently the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Atlantic Fleet. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Admiral Henry H. Laws, Jr.
Thank you, Captain Gaskin. Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see so many old friends here. I tell you, this is like coming home in many respects. Admiral Unruh, Admiral Robinson, this is Lena V. England, Bemis, Present and former commanding officers of this great ship, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, the crew members and the families of USS England, past and present. The decommissioning of a ship is always a sad occasion, especially so when you have served in that ship. Today is also an opportunity to celebrate the over 30 years of life and service to the nation that this great ship has given. So we are here to honor England and those who manned her rails, those who maintained her, and those Navy families who gave their support so willingly and for so long. In many respects, this decommissioning is a sign of the times. The demise of the Soviet Union, we've heard so much about that. The new structure of the international security environment. All these factors have combined for the requirement for a much different U.S. military force posture. And as a result, as it should be to some extent, our Navy is getting smaller. It's getting smaller fast. This fiscal year alone, our Navy will decommission 90 ships. I'm especially sad to say that 50 of those will be in the Atlantic Fleet. Overall, we will reduce the size of our Navy from almost 600,000 personnel in 1988 to under 400,000 people in 1999. I guess the good news is that we have just passed the halfway point of all that downsizing. But I think everybody in uniform here today can appreciate that in the downsizing process, we're doing our level best to minimize the breakage. We're doing all we can to take care of our people and to improve the Navy in a qualitative sense. We are retaining much of our essential force structure in terms of carriers, cruisers, destroyers, submarines, amphibious forces, the cutting edge of our Navy. And we are retaining the most highly trained, competent naval professionals in the world. The drawdown will end soon. But it's my personal belief that we're going to have to fight hard to not embark on yet another drawdown, to hold the bottom line where it is. And we're going to have to fight hard to keep our essential force structure and to keep it ready in the face of continuing budget pressure. Whenever I talk to sailors in the Atlantic Fleet, I ask them to look beyond this day, this month, this year. Today's conditions that we face in our Navy will not be typical of a career. We will emerge from this drawdown leaner, smaller, qualitatively better, hopefully more efficient, and we will still be by far the best Navy in the world. We will be able to operate wherever and whenever required in the defense of our national interests. The world out there is going to make our case for us that the U.S. must retain a strong Navy and a strong Marine Corps. The U.S. has vital interests throughout the world. The world today is more, not less, complex than it was just a few years ago. And this country does have many vulnerabilities, especially our economy, our dependence on trade, our dependence on the flow of oil, our dependence on the price of oil. Korea, the Balkans, the Persian Gulf demand our attention. In the future, there will be crises in these and other areas, ranging from Asia to the Middle East, to North Africa, and the Caribbean. And as U.S. land-based forces withdraw from overseas bases, the relative importance of naval forces will increase. And your Navy and your Marine Corps will be on the scene to deter, limit, contain these crises that will occur, as this ship, England, did during Desert Shield, 4 hours after the invasion of Kuwait. England was on station as the anti-air warfare commander in the Arabian Gulf. I note that in all the years after I left this ship, I visited the ship twice. Both times were in the Persian Gulf. The first time shortly after I took command of the 7th Fleet, and second during Desert Shield. Both times I saw this ship. She was ready, on station, and proud. Future generations of sailors need look no further than this ship for a symbol of honorable service to our nation. And this ship, England, is a ship steeped in tradition. As you can see from your program, her namesake, Ensign John C. England, set the standard by courageously guiding fellow crew members of the USS Oklahoma to safety after 5 Japanese torpedoes caused her to capsize at Pearl Harbor. 3 times Ensign England returned below decks to lead the way out. He bravely returned a 4th time, but was never seen again. Mrs. Bemis, I speak for the entire England crew, past and present, when I say it has been a privilege to serve aboard a ship named for your brother. His example has inspired us. The first ship to bear the name England, a destroyer escort, was commissioned in late 1943 and set her own mark for bravery and competence. She sank 6 Japanese submarines in 14 days, a feat unequaled before or since. She saw a lot of action at other times as well. And I'm proud and glad to see so many of her former crew members able to join us today. You have been shining examples to us all. When I relieved Admiral Hugh Webster as CO of this great ship, we were in the middle of a 14-month overhaul at Long Beach Naval Shipyard. At the ceremony after the change of command, Admiral Webster's mother came up to me and told me in confidence that as a child, Hugh always loved to take his toys apart. Well, he had done it again. Totally disassembled. Still, even though the ship was in the yard, I was thrilled to get her. I knew her reputation. I was afraid that she had been reserved for some of few persons, chosen few, of which I was not one. It was a great feeling to be part of this ship, a great positive attitude, a determination to succeed. The crew took care of each other. At sea, on liberty, they took pride in themselves and in their ship. In those days, this was 1980, the Navy was still suffering from the hollow force of the 70s. There were shortages of key ratings. Drug problems were common. But this ship, England, transformed people. Standards were clear and fair. The wardroom, the chief's mess, the senior petty officers simply decided to do things right. They embraced the initiatives to instill pride and professionalism. It was a joy to command this ship. Someday, perhaps my gravestone will read, he kept a clean ship and he passed his offie. We did pass our offie, and as a reward, this was only 3 months after leaving the yard, the reward was getting to go to the Portland Rose Festival. And then, many weekends thereafter, crew members from this ship would fly to Portland to resume their acquaintanceship with certain friends that they had met in that area. And frankly, I attended several weddings between England crew members and Portland girls. A great port visit. Early in 1982, we departed on a 7-month deployment to the Indian Ocean with the Ranger Battle Group. This was one of 16 deployments that England's made over the years. Another characteristics of this ship is that people kept coming back for repeat tours. They asked to return. This is a big part of the continuing tradition that has made her so special. It is only fitting that England's last commanding officer be someone whose own career has been so much a part of the ship's life. Captain Peter Gasson has served as England's operations officer, as her executive officer, as you mentioned while I was aboard, and now as her CO. Pete, as her last captain, you've been a great credit to her history. I know this hasn't been an easy tour in some respects, being in the yard, preparing for deployment, but all of a sudden changing course and preparing for decommissioning. But through it all, your leadership, your professionalism have shone brightly. The ship looks great. It's a shame she has to go before her time, but she is going out in style. Well done to you and to Mimsy for all you've done to the ship and her people. England has been a central part of the lives of the thousands of men who have served aboard her for the last 30 years. More than any other ship I've known, England has been more than just a tour of duty, more than just a place to hang your sea bag. She has been home. Aboard this ship, countless generations of crews have worked and dreamed, they have aspired, they have laughed and they have cried, and they have rejoiced in this ship's achievements. As England passes into naval history today, her spirit will live on as long as we here are alive. And I hope to see the day when another ship named England will grace our Navy. To the entire England family, to all of you here today, friends, family, crew members of England, thank you for being here and joining in this great ceremony. Well done to the crew, Captain. I wish you Godspeed. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Peter J. Gaskin II.
Good afternoon again. Before I go any further, I would like to thank Miss Lenny B. Demas, Ensign John C. England's sister, and her husband Robert Demas for traveling from Colorado to be with us today. In addition to Admiral Moss and myself, with us today in the audience are 6 more of the 15 surviving commanding officers of the England. Gentlemen, as I call your name, please rise. England's first commanding officer, Captain J.W. Caspery. Captain J.J. Paulus. Captain C.E. Lambert. Rear Admiral H.L. Webster. Captain G.M. Music III. And I might have been short on this one, but is Captain Vanderstroff making it? There he is. All right. Thanks for taking the time and traveling miles to be here today. Stark and unadorned, save for her campaign ribbons and award pennants, the ship that you see behind me today is all the remains of a once mighty warship. She is at this moment very near the end of her service to Navy and nation. But before that moment comes, there are words that must be said about her magnificent career, the men who sailed in her, past and present. At her commissioning as the 7th Leahy-class DLG in December of 1963, England was optimized to counter a long-range Soviet Union air threat. She was heavy on missiles, 80 birds, light on guns, 2 3-inch 50, medium-range active sonar. Over the years of her 30-year career, she has received major upgrades. Navy tactical data systems, 2- and 3-dimensional air search radars, close-in weapon system, passive sonar upgrade, Harpoon cruise missiles, a multitude of command and control upgrades, and with an endless stream of acronyms, DAMAs and OTCXs and ANDVTs and HAVQUICs and JOTS 1 and 2, and throughout all these combat systems improvements, thank God, little change below the main deck. In the final analysis, parts is parts, steam is steam. Like the Smith-Barney brokerage ad on TV, you get there the hard way, you earn it. Speaking of earning it, England as DLG-22 and later CG-22 earned many firsts. In my research for this day, I've come across several that I'd like to relay to you. In 1966, while on North SAR Sea Air Rescue Station, she was the first Navy ship in the Vietnam War to recover 36 downed aviators, Air Force and Navy, from the South China Sea in one 7-month deployment. This single ship record still stands. In 1968, she returned to North SAR and rescued 30 South Vietnamese Special Forces personnel after a night patrol boat raid into North Vietnam. In 1973, she was the first cruiser in the Pacific Fleet to pass an operational propulsion plant examination, the OPI that Admiral Moss was speaking about. Admiral James Hogg, then Commander Hogg, was the captain. The senior inspector on board for that OPI was Commander Don Durkee, who later became England's 13th captain. In 1987, she was the first CG impact fleet to receive the new threat upgrade conversion. That is a year in Long Beach Naval Shipyard that Captain Meredith Music and his command master chief, Richard Dysart, probably will not forget. In 1990, she was the first cruiser, as Admiral Moss indicated, and the first AAWC anti-air warfare commander in the Arabian Gulf at the start of Operation Desert Shield. Captain Conrad Vanderstroff was that anti-air warfare commander. With all these upgrades and firsts, you might ask, why are we decommissioning England today? I know the answer, but first just a little more background. England was scheduled to deploy 2 Spruance-class destroyers to the Arabian Gulf 2 days ago, on 19 January 1994. When I relieved in August of 92, I did not even think I'd be her last captain. She was to decommission in fiscal year 1996. But as a Navy financial manager, I should have known better. The directive that provided the rationale for decommissioning her in fiscal year 94 said that she was being retired due to age and cost reduction measures within the Department of Defense. The decision to accelerate England's decommissioning was on the mark. The doctrine that is driving the Navy of the future is called From the Sea, subtitled Preparing the Naval Service for the 21st Century. That plan does not include the Leahy or Belknap-class cruisers. At the end of the pier, this pier, 13, is the USS John Paul Jones, DDG-53, the Pacific Fleet's first Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer. She is part of the From the Sea plan. Vertical launch systems for cruise and anti-air missiles, Aegis combat systems, gas turbine power. She embodies the future of surface warfare, just as England did 30 years ago. As the wardroom and Mimsy will attest, for the last month, I've been mistakenly referring to this day as a change of command. Dr. Jack Shale, a Navy psychiatrist, who has been a friend of mine in New England since I was XO, would probably say I'm blocked. But I'd like to take a page out of a playbook for a change of command and use this opportunity to do what any captain really wants to do, and that's tell you how great his crew is. I relieved, as I said, on 21st of August 1992 for my 3rd tour on England. When you put it all together, it's 64 months on board this great ship. In September of 92, she began a 5-month docking plant maintenance availability in San Diego. The reason for this docking and availability was to get the NTU, the new threat upgrade, backfit, which was to catch the first of the class up with the rest of the cruisers that had followed. But there was more to do in the engineering plant than expected. With the help of Tom Tucker, our lead soup ship surveyor, we managed to get her what she needed below decks. Practically propulsion examining board light-off examination, which is your ticket to the big leagues of at-sea operations after a shipyard period, was successfully passed the first time in March of 1993. The senior PV inspector was impressed with the teamwork and ownership England's engineering department displayed. No surprise to me. From there, we went through steam testing and sea trial. For our civilian guests, this is more than kicking the tires. It's a quick how it goes it and a great way to acid test your quality assurance program. In our case, sea trials went well and safely. It was a testament to a favorite subject of mine, which the boardroom was bored to tears with, has to do with attention to detail. But it worked. June through September of 93 were spent with England immersed in pre-deployment training. In stages, we worked from basic to advanced exercises while developing onboard training teams in engineering, damage control, combat systems, and seamanship. These teams continued the training effort during the ship's deployment. Our shipboard training teams learned their lesson well from Captain Bill Smith's afloat training group. For example, standing behind you is a Fire Control Chief Surface Warfare, John Hogemeyer. He was awarded the Navy Commendation Medal for his accomplishments on the combat systems training team. His knowledge base proved extremely helpful to train our cruise missile tactical deployment teams. Both teams passed their qualifications in August with an outstanding grade. In the timeline, it's now September of 1993, and we're on a roll. But the rumors start about an accelerated decommissioning. Admiral Clark, the commander of the Carl Vinson Battle Group, my boss at the time, is calling me on the cellular phone as we're passing 1SD to Seabuoy out here to tell me about the rumors that are flying. I get back in port and I'm calling Conrad Vanderstroff back in Washington to find out what his Pentagon sources are saying. and we're looking down the bore of an OPI, an Operation Propulsion Program Plan Examination. The rumors eventually start to take some shape. And since I've always been a proponent of pleasure over pain, I recommended to Admiral Clark that we trade the OPI painful experience, not unlike practicing bleeding, for a more pleasurable and culturally broadening one like participating in Fleet Week. 93. Admiral Clark, who's an officer who knows good liberty when he sees it, took the idea to Admiral Robinson, who in turn persuaded Admiral Unruh to take a latecomer into the party. The rest is history. A week of incident-free liberty in a great city, hosted by folks like Viola and Jack Ziegler. And we won the softball championship to boot. Unfortunately, we returned to San Diego, and Rule 1 of political economy took over. That rule is there ain't no free lunch. On the 15th of October 1993, the Secretary of the Navy approved adding 28 ships to the fiscal 1994 decom schedule. England was on the list. What followed was a painful process which reduced, as I said, a once mighty warship to what you see behind me. The good news is that Admiral Robinson, through his staff, took early and decisive actions to ensure the capture and reuse of all the frontline equipment that had been put on board not 8 or 9 months earlier. And not only England, but as well the other ships they're decommissioning in 94. The 10-week decommissioning process finished on schedule about a week ago, safely because we retained ownership. It's something that we've been pressing all along and held a contractor to our standards. There's an individual standing in the ranks behind you today, well, really two, that had more on a day-to-day basis to do with the safe and timely completion of this decommissioning availability. They are Lieutenant Commander Mike Hagerty, without a doubt the best chief engineer that I have ever served with in 24 years, and Chief Warrant Officer Rick Hutchinson. Well done, Mike and Rick. So we've reached the present. I've just recounted the history of the past 17 months. But what you can't know, because you weren't here day in and day out, is that the England was ready to go to the Middle East. To me, readiness is well-trained, quality people. A key indicator of personal readiness, the percentage of billets filled with personnel who have the skills, the Navy calls it an enlisted qualification code, for the billet that they're in. In other words, they know the job and they're in the right place. England was projected to have 91% of her billets filled with skilled people by the time of deployment. That's C1 in our rating system. It doesn't get any better. More than anyone else on board, this quantum personnel readiness fleet was the result of the work of Senior Chief Navy Career Counselor Surface Warfare James Mathias. Ranging far beyond his rating, he became a personal system expert. He was awarded the Navy Commendation Medal for his extraordinary efforts in improving England's personal readiness. Before closing, there are several people and San Diego waterfront organizations that deserve my sincere thanks. In the maintenance world, it's hats off to Bob Hatton's Sima San Diego and Captain John Hagis's repair ship, Jason, where we've done an awful lot of our work in the last year. They're simply tops. England's ombudsman, Nancy Downing, despite a full-time job, was there for our families. This year's children's Christmas party was one for the record books, Nancy. Thanks. I want to thank my executive officer, Doug Hanson, for his candid counsel and steadfast support. Finally, there is Mincy, who bought into the dream of returning to the England, who endured the late-night phone calls, and who understood that taking a warship from dry dock to deployment takes a lot of the captain's time. For all this and untold more, thank you. In 1944, Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Ernest King said, "There will always be an England in the United States Navy." It is my fervent hope that this ship of mine will not be the last to bear the name England. Today, Admiral King's statement is no longer true in fact, but it is true in spirit. The men you see assembled on the ship, and the officers and chief petty officers who you cannot see behind you will go on to other ships. 13 to pre-commissioning units for ships like the John Paul Jones. 21 will go to ships, squadrons, and communication stations overseas. 154 in all will go back to sea in newer, more capable ships which will play an active role in from the sea. They take with them the spirit of this great warship. They know what's right. They won't compromise their standards. They are the future of surface warfare. It has truly been an honor to command such a great crew. I will now read the decommission order. Decommission order is part of Chief of Naval Operations Administrative Message number 20893. Subject, FY94 ship, submarine, and aircraft squadron decommissioning. It directs that USS England CG-22 be decommissioned at San Diego, California in the month of January 1994. Executive officer, take charge, march off the crew, strike the pennants, lower the colors, and secure the watch.
Aye, aye, sir. England, attention. Inboard, base. March off. ship's company. About base. The commission pennant, when hoisted to the main truck, symbolizes the moment when the life of a ship begins. When the pennant is finally struck and handed to the captain, the ship is officially retired. Your attention is invited to the forward mast for the lowering of the commission pennant. Officer of the deck, strike the award pennants, haul down the Union Jack and ensign, strike the commission pennant, and secure the watch.
Aye, aye, sir.
Ship's company, parade, rest. The Command Master Chief Petty Officer James Lombardi, will now present the commission pennant and colors to the commanding officer. The officer of the deck, YN-1 Surface Warfare, Willie L. Green, will now present the ship's long glass and deck log to the captain. Will the guests please rise and remain standing? Ship's company, attention, up. Ladies and gentlemen, please join the England crew in the observance of the final salute. In a moment, the San Diego Navy Band will play taps. At the end of taps, 5 rounds will be fired. The first is in memory of Ensign John C. England, for whom 2 great warships were named. The next 3 rounds honor the memory of the guided missile cruiser England's 3 deceased commanding officers, Captains Harvey Braga, C.H. Sell, and G.A. Mitchell. The final round is in honor of the over 4,700 crew members, living or dead, who served in England during her 30 years of service to the Navy and the nation. Chaplain U-Hall will deliver the benediction.
Would you please join me for the benediction as the band plays the Navy hymn. Eternal Father, strong to save, whose arm hath bound the restless wave, who bids the mighty oceans deep its own appointed limits keep. Oh, hear us when we cry to Thee for those in peril on the sea. Now USS England's course is run, her work for home and country done. Of all the souls that in her sailed, let not one life in thee have failed. But hear from heaven our sailors' cry, and grant your peace that's from on high. Amen.
Retire the colors.
Color guard, half left, march. Color guard, half right, march.
Side boys, post. Atlantic Fleet departing. Naval Surface Force, U.S. Pacific Fleet departing. Captain, United States Navy, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the decommissioning of the England. Please join Captain Gaskin and the officers and men of England's last crew for refreshments in the reception tent.